Feeling good is the goal, right? I mean, you've probably heard this 1,000 times. You just have to focus on feeling better. But what if I told you that that same advice can actually ruin your life? And the fact that feeling better can lead you down a path to destruction just as easily as it can lead to healing. Because when it comes to your feelings, here's the thing. They move fast, kind of like waves. But if you only follow how you feel in the moment, you actually might end up drifting further and further from where you actually want to go. I want you to think of the ocean for a second. This is my little miniature ocean, because at the top of this ocean, we have what you call our waves. And this is the thing that we notice first when we're thinking of how we experience things. At the very top, the waves represent our feelings because they're always changing. It's the first thing we notice. They're always clashing into each other because our feelings work in a very similar way. They're always rising and falling, consistently responding to what's happening around us. But just below how we feel, you have the deeper currents. It's the deeper forces that shape the ocean in a longer period of time. And I like to think that's kind of like how our mood works. They last longer and they're influenced by things like sleep, stress, and our overall environment. But in the last layer, we have the deepest part of the ocean, and that's the part that you don't see. It's the undercurrents that shape literally everything, even if you don't feel them at the surface level. And that's what you call your emotions. And that's the stuff that are buried at the unconscious mind. And I don't claim to have experience in this, or do I claim to understand this whole process, but what I am going to try to do is to explain to you how your mood and your feelings interact with each other. So when someone says, I want to start feeling better, which parts of the ocean are they listening to? Are they looking at the feelings? Are they interpreting their mood? Are they dealing with something deeper at the deeper emotional level? I'll give you a quick story. I used to work retail back in the day. Long shifts, long nights, and it's basically a job that didn't pay much. But at this job, I had a friend, and this person was a guy that had been through so much in his life, and to be honest, he had gone through more than most people could imagine, okay? And I say this because he was an immigrant from the Middle East. He was living alone. His brother had committed suicide. His wife cheated on him, and he was drowning in financial problems. And every time he got overwhelmed, he would literally say, I want to feel better. So what would he do? He started gambling. He spent everything on a moment on trying to make everything back, and he would just keep getting deeper and deeper into debt. And to be honest, many times when gambling or these other issues that he had going on, whenever it got worse, he just got deeper into his drug problems to just try to escape, but to just avoid the pain or to just make things feel a little bit different for a moment in time. Now, whenever we got to talking about what he was going through, he would always tell me the same thing. He knew what he was doing wasn't actually helping. And by the end of the shift, every time we spoke, he would always say that, I just want to feel better. Now, years later, when I became a therapist, I built my life around this idea of healing people. And then one day I caught myself saying the exact same phrase to my clients. You should focus on feeling better. It was the same words, but completely different meaning. And that's when I realized that feeling good isn't just the solution, nor is it the problem, it's both. It just depends on how you get there. Your feelings are the ones that live at the top of the ocean. They're at the surface. They're quick. They react to moment situations. So for example, if you're exhausted, your body might tell you to grab some caffeine. If you're stressed out, your body might just tell you to scroll through your phone, to drink to escape the pain. If you're sore, your body might tell you to just sit still and avoid moving your body. So your feelings aren't necessarily wrong, but they're not always guiding you to what's best either. They're like waves. They're temporary, they're shifting, and sometimes they pull you in the wrong direction. But then you have your mood, which is shaped by more than just your feelings. It's the ocean currents beneath the waves. So we have your feelings, which are the waves, and then we have your currents below that, which is your mood. If you're sleep deprived, if you're stressed, if you're constantly overwhelmed, those deeper currents start pulling you in a certain direction, whether you realize it or not. And deeper still, you have the deepest layer, which is your emotions, which is your unconscious forces that shape how you see the world. Basically, the things that you don't always feel, but they influence you anyways. The trauma, the long-term stress, the beliefs that you hold about yourself, they are at the deepest layers of the ocean. So by looking at our emotions through this framework, I've been able to discover one important thing that I want to share with you. If your feelings can mislead you because they are at the top of the ocean, they are what we easily have access to, that means that we can positively influence how we feel. So this is where what I call the feel-good method comes in, because it's not about chasing comfort. It's about learning how to read your emotions and using them to make better choices. Because the truth is, your body already has the ability to feel good in the right way. You just have to give it the right inputs. It's about training your body and your mind to find real satisfaction instead of going for quick relief. And it's why the first step in the feel-good method isn't about forcing yourself to do hard things. It's about priming your body to feel better first, because when you feel good, you are more likely to make good decisions. If our feelings are the waves on the surface, your mood is the layer below in the ocean. It's the currents. They shape the way you experience the world time and time again. And below that, we have our emotions. It's a more powerful undercurrent that runs throughout your life, shaping your identity, your actions, and even your relationships. Because the goal isn't to ignore how you feel, because oftentimes they are a reflection of our deeper emotions. The goal is to understand them and to influence them, using them as a guide and not as a prison to how you feel.